Greetings, greetings, greetings. It is time for summer solstice. We are almost, let me get Instagram going. My name is Ujo Wajet, and I am going to be doing some live tarot readings in honor of the upcoming summer solstice. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me tell you exactly how this is going to work. So, hold on. Let me see. Give me just a moment. I'm trying to get this live stream on Instagram. But what to expect for this live stream? I'm going to do a collective reading for the summer, overall energy reading, and then I'm going to hop into here we go, into individual readings. And so when it comes to individual readings, I'm going to select at random for that. And I'll let you know when you can put in your question or things like that, so we can go ahead and get started. All righty. Let me type this in for Instagram, and we're going to go ahead and get going. Okay. All right. So first, I just want you to think about, just take a moment to reflect on spring. We have a few days left. What's today's date? Today is the 15th of June as I'm recording this. So even if you're catching the replay, I want you to think about, just reflect on spring. What has that been like for you? What was there anything that you wanted to manifest during this time? Was there anything during the spring season where, do you feel like you got what you needed and what you wanted out of spring? Just reflect on that for a moment, right? There's a reason why I do these things quarterly with every season. There's an opportunity for change. There's an opportunity for growth, for just so many things. And it's such an opportune time to just reflect and make sure that you're still on track with the things that you want. And that it's an opportunity to do something different or make some changes if something isn't working for you. So I just want you to keep that in mind. I am currently multi-streaming. I'm streaming on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So you can find me there at Ujo Wajet on all of those platforms. And be sure to share and like this video and subscribe and follow if you haven't done so already. So let's dive into the overall theme for this upcoming summer season. All right. And as I am shuffling for this overall theme, and just to break it down, I'm doing an overall theme. I'm going to pull a card for that, along with the early part of the summer, the middle part of summer, and then the end of summer. Okay. So I'll be pulling 4 cards, but we'll see what pops up. And then I'm going to go into individual readings. All right. But I want you to think about what it is that you want, what it is that you no longer want, and what it is that maybe there's something that you're already doing and you want to continue that, right? What are some things that you want to let go of? Where are you at in this stage of your life right now? The reason why I am prompting you with that is because when it comes to the cards that I pull, it'll play a role in how you perceive the message, okay? And for me, like when I'm doing general readings, I feel like that's really important. So you can have a bit more context. All right. Overall theme for summer, we have the 8 of Wands. And I feel like this came up in the spring collective reading. If you haven't checked that out, you can do so. That replay is on my Instagram and on my YouTube channel. But let's look at this. 8 of Wands for the overall theme for summer. And this kind of makes sense, okay? Wands is the element of fire, Eight of Wands is about movement and moving fast, right? Quick, fast, in a hurry. And we already know the summer is about like hot girl season, hot boy season, hot them season, you know, whatever your pronouns are, insert that there. It is that it all applies. So a lot of times things really heat up energetically, right? Maybe as the summer season starts to take place, you're wanting to do more things or things are happening really fast. So this can go either way for you, right? Either you are wanting to build momentum or you are becoming overwhelmed with everything that's kind of coming at you, whether it is opportunities that are coming at you, whether it is trials and tribulations that are coming at you. So this can go either way. And this is why that context matters, right? But either way, it's an opportunity for a lot of fast pace. But depending on where you're at, what's going on in your life right now, it can either be very overwhelming or it can be really good. And it's like all the things that you've been preparing for, it's time to like make those moves. All right. So that's overall theme. And if you have any questions with any of the cards, if you're wanting a little bit more insight, just let me know in the comments. And let me make sure I can see the screen here. Okay. My setup is a little bit different today, trying something new. All right. Hey, everyone. And after I pull all these cards, I'm going to say hi to everyone in the comments. All right. All right. So now we're going to pull a card for overall. We did overall for early part of summer, early summer. And hey, if you all are if you all have decks and you want to pull cards along with me, you can do that too. All right, early summer, early summer. Ooh, okay. I feel like this card also came up. I'm going to have to look back on the spring readings because this card came up for the spring collective reading. For those of y'all that was there, I feel like this card definitely came up, okay? So and this is a good thing though. We have the 9 of Pentacles, okay, for early part of summer. Now let's look at how does this play a role when it comes to overall theme and then early part of summer. Okay, so going into summer, things are already going to be fast paced, just energetically, whether it's going to be overwhelming or a lot of opportunities and possibilities coming at you. It can go either way. Right now, 9 of Pentacles. What did I mention when I talked about these things kind of coming at you? Right. If you have been already putting in the work, planting the seeds, all these things that you're kind of doing behind the scenes, and you've been consistent with that, or maybe inconsistent, and now you're about to get dragged and pulled out. Maybe you've been hiding all of those talents and those gifts and those things that you have, and you've been kind of on the sidelines or maybe not putting in all that effort, right? And you're not seeing that growth. The opportunities are going to show up for you in the early part of summer. Whether that, and let's keep in mind, opportunities, sometimes you have to put yourself out there. All that stuff that you've been doing and cultivating, you can't, it's not going to always just come to you. You have to take some sort of action, because this is earth elemental. We have earth and fire working together here. Okay. And when earth and fire comes together, that's a really good, like, nurturing energy. They support each other really well. And so all that stuff you've been doing, it's time to come out of hiding. It's time to stop half-assing it. It's time to start putting yourself out there a little bit more. As you're having conversations with people, as you're seeing things come up, it's time to kind of like own that a little bit more, right? Now, if you're at a place in your life where you've been doing that, you might have been doing the work already. And this could also be a time for you to just honor where you're at and have gratitude for where you're at, right? Be proud of the point that you got to so far, right? All the work that you put in. Don't think of it as, just take a moment to be grateful and to be proud of yourself and to just celebrate all the work that you've put in. Does that make sense? Because sometimes we are so caught up in all the things that we still have to do that we forget how much we've actually grown. So even think back to when the early spring, even winter, right? What have you cultivated between now and then? even if for some reason I'm hearing 1 to 2 years, think about over the course of the last 1 to 2 years. I'm also seeing 3 to 5. Some of you need the 3 to 5 year mark for you to really see your growth and transition, right? Even though you might not be exactly where you want to be right now, right? You are much further along when you reflect back either that 1 to 2 year mark or that 3 to 5 years. For some reason, I'm seeing both of those numbers. So I don't know who needs that. Let me know if that resonates, the 1 to 2 years versus 3 to 5 years. But this is, or 3 to 5 years or months, I'm hearing both. So you let me know what time frame resonates with you, but just don't forget that part, okay? So yes, there's always going to be opportunities and things that come up and always room for growth, but don't forget to just celebrate and honor how far you've come. That's going to be really important in that early part of summer. So let's go into middle summer, and then I'll pull a card for the end of summer, and then we'll go into individual readings. And let me know, y'all, if I did any individual readings for you in previous collective readings that I've done. Let me know updates. Someone shared an update with me from a reading I did like 2 years ago. It was wild. And he sent me a message today, and he was like, I came across the reading that you did, and he was like, all that stuff, like some stuff is still coming to fruition for him, and it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. So let me know any updates. All right. Ooh, we got a jumper. 8 of Cups. 8 of Cups. Now we have water. So overall theme, okay, we have fire, 8 of Wands. Early part of summer, we have 9 of Pentacles, earth. Now we have water. So one of the things that's coming up is just a lot of balance of elements. All right, so I pay attention to elements. I like to read with elements. For those of you, if you're new to my style of reading, so I do pay attention to that, okay? So now we have the 8 of Cups, water, emotions. Also what's sticking out is the moon in this card. All right, so I'm thinking about the timing, right? Even around the full moon, okay? So we're coming up, this is the 15th of June, 2023, as I'm recording this. 8:22 is the time, central time right now, which is interesting. So, and we're coming on to a new moon is coming up this weekend, I believe, right? So think about timing. So around a moon cycle, just be mindful. I'm not sure what the date is of the full moon, the first full moon of summer. If somebody could let me know that in the comments, that'd be amazing. If you know what that full moon is, be mindful around that timeline from that full moon to the next full moon, right? The full moon cycle in the summer, during the summer season. Be mindful of relationships, habits, mindset, patterns, and things that you really need to transition out of. It's time to let those things go. It's time to and what I'm hearing is growth. You see what I'm saying? Like sometimes you get to a point, especially with this 9 of Pentacles, right? You've already put in the work that you've put in. Some of those things, and I mentioned either opportunities or overwhelm. Which one is it going to be? It can be either way, depending on where you're at, depending on what stage of your life. It might be a little bit of both, but some things you need to transition out of, you need to let go of. Okay, July 3rd for that full moon. So pay attention to that full moon cycle. It's like, okay, what things are no longer serving you? What things have you outgrown and you're just holding on to because it's comfortable, because you're used to it, and you're being called to do something more, or just it's about evolution as well, right? So it might be relationships, it might be career, it might be your mindset and just your overall feelings about yourself and the things that you want. So I feel like it's a combination of that, right? It's time for you to move on, to let go, so you can continue to evolve. This is about growth. This is about releasing and creating space for the things and more opportunities to come, right? Because if you keep holding on, right? And I use this analogy all the time. Okay, let me get, I'm holding this, my water bottle. If I'm holding this is all the stuff. This represents all the things that I'm continuing to do. I'm holding on to, whether it's out of fear for moving forward, whether I don't feel I'm worthy enough for it, whether I feel like, oh, I don't have all the certifications, I don't have all the things, I don't feel like I can, I know enough yet, or, this is just where I'm comfortable. I'm holding on to all that, right? So anything that I'm wanting, I can't receive it because my hands are full of all the stuff that I actually have outgrown or that I've actually mastered already. And I'm playing small, right? So think about the areas in which you are playing small, because once you put that down, now you can receive more. Does that make sense? Just think about that. Think about where that shows up. And you might not be mindful of, you might not know how it's going to show up for you just yet. But I promise you, when you return back, and I'm able to put timestamps on the for the replay for YouTube, and I will go back and do that. You can go back and just pay attention to what comes up, okay? But yeah, it's time to walk away. It's time to let go. It's time to move. This isn't about taking steps backward. It's so you can move forward, all right? All right, so now let's pull a card for the final, like the end of summer. And then we're going to go into individual readings. But I'm going to chat with y'all, chop it up with y'all for a little bit before we go into individuals. All right, end of summer, end of summer, end of summer. Ooh, come on now. We have the Ace of Wands. All right, so we got overall theme, we have wands, okay, and we are wrapping up the summer season with wands. But now this is about potential, okay? This is about igniting all the things. So what did I say? What did I say? I said, before I even knew this card was going to be a thing, I said that when you start to let go and right, create space for new things, this is literally that next thing. And you might not know what it is yet. Sometimes you're not supposed to know. You're not gonna know until you get to that point, right? You're not gonna be ready for what's to come and what you can receive. You don't even know what's possible for you yet. What did I say here? Opportunities and overwhelm. If you're overwhelmed, you have to let that go so you can have the capacity for something new, right? If all the opportunities are coming your way, it's time to switch some shit up. You can't do the things that you've already done to get to where you need to be, right? And that's going to show up towards the end of summer. It doesn't matter what area of your life. Is it career? Is it relationships? Is it your own personal growth? I feel like a lot of it is this combination of, like, you have to learn and grow and progress with who you are as a person, right? In your mind, body, spirit. That correlates and has to be congruent with all the things that you want in your life, right? Like, and you will start to see where you are not in alignment with those two things. This is about bringing these things together. So if you're at a point in your life where you feel like there's a mismatch, this is the opportunity for those things to start to, some stuff has to become dismantled a little bit, and so you can put that, find those puzzle pieces, okay? But it is directly correlated with what's going on with you internally. right? If you don't believe that it's possible, then it won't be. Then you are correct. Then it's not possible, right? So there's some healing and some mindset, maybe some shadow work that needs to take place. So I mentioned middle of summer. This is going to be like, what do you need to let go of? It might not be something physical. It might be the mental, emotional stuff, right? And if you need support around that, get support, right? What accountability do you need? Maybe it's some self-reflection stuff. Maybe you need a coach or a counselor. Maybe you need a community that can nurture those things or help you kind of unpack whatever that is, right? But with that, this is where you get to ignite those new ideas, those new things. Like, you get to discover like what's next, or how you can take all this stuff that you've been doing and compile that into something else, something new. Like, it feels like new energy. It feels like almost like what you're igniting is, you have all these different talents and these different abilities and these different things, and you didn't even think about a way that you can put these things together, right? So I feel like there's a lot of that coming in. But also, when it comes to commanding your own presence, like you showing up for yourself, is also coming up when it comes to this Ace of Wands. Like, own it, own who you are, because the more that you do that, the more that you're going to be able to attract those things that align with the truth of who you are when you start to show up in your authenticity, right? So this is also about ownership for you as a being, as an individual being. The more you do that, the more everything else comes into alignment. Because think about it, how often do we show up in places and for people, and you know it does not resonate in your body? You know it does, like something is off, and you still do it. Why? Because you don't know what else to do. I don't know. Like, just think about how that shows up. It can show up in so many different ways. And I've definitely experienced this. And you can, there's plenty of videos that I've talked about on my YouTube channel about these things and topics around this. All right. So just something to think about. So just a quick recap, right? Overall theme for summer, we have the Eight of Wands. This is fire, opportunities, overwhelm. It might be a combination of both. All right. Early part of the summer, we have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the earth element. And this is about like all the stuff that you've cultivated over the years, right? Like, own and honor what you've done thus far. Think about the timeline, whether it's being proud of like where you're at and how far you've come, either in that 1 to 2 year mark or that 3 to 5 years or months. For some reason, those two keep coming up, right? So just be mindful of that, because all of the skills, all of the things that you've brought forward are going to play a role in what's happening in the middle of summer. All right. Because you might have accumulated a lot, and now it's time to let go of holding on to it. It's time to like just start to release some things, so you have the capacity for what's next. You have the capacity to receive. You have the capacity to start doing more, right? To even thinking about the ideas and how that can come to fruition for you. All right. Whether it's career, finances, relationships, but I feel like a lot of this is going to be internal. Right? Because it's about decisions. And if you're just holding on to what feels comfortable or what feels good versus allowing yourself to step outside of your comfort zone, right? That's where this moon, like, and I feel like that's around the moon, full moon energy, from the first full moon of summer to the next full moon of summer. All right. I believe somebody said it's July 3rd. It's going to be first full moon of the summer. So just be mindful of that and what you need to release. And through releasing, right, towards the end of summer, then it's going to be time for action, igniting action and ideas and potential and opportunity. All of those things that you've nurtured, that you already have the skill set for, now you can start to put those things into action. Now you can start to develop those things, right? If you feel like you don't have a skill set, maybe you're learning how to develop that. So it can show up in a few different ways for you. All right. So that is the collective energy reading for summer. Let me know how that resonates with you. I'm going to say hi to y'all in the comments here, and then we're going to go into individual readings. So let me let you know how that's going to go, because I'm multi-streaming right now, and this is what you can do, okay? If you are interested in a reading, I'm going to pick at random, and I'll be picking from both on, if you're on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to randomly pick. And this is how you, this is how I want you to do it. You can, if you want just a general reading, you can just put general in the comments. If there's a specific question, you can post that question. If you have general, but you want general for a specific area of your life, so like general but career, general relationships, or general your spiritual journey or something like that, then you can do that. Okay, so either put a specific question or just say general reading, or general and then what general area of your life are you interested in. Okay, so you can start putting that in right now. I'm going to catch up with you all in the comments for a few minutes, and then I will start randomly selecting, and then I will let you know if I'm selecting from Instagram. Then I'll say, okay, Instagram, I'll call your name out, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, so let me just say hello, and then of course, like this video if you're liking what you are hearing so far, if you're resonating with this, and be sure to subscribe and follow if you're on Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. All right, and share this video. All right, now let me see. So yeah, y'all are resonating with the message. Some of y'all are switching over to YouTube. Yes to the pivot. Good, good, good. The Eight of Cups has a crescent moon in it. Does that mean anything? Yeah, so we have different phases of the moon. And with those moon phases, you have the full moon, first quarter moon, waxing, waning. You have the last quarter moon, and you have the full moon, new moon. All right, so there's different phases and different stages, and so that is also an essence of timing. So I'll give you a close-up of that. So for some of you, if you can see that, and the deck that I'm using is the Modern Witch Tarot is the deck that I'm using today. So yeah, so there are different phases in the moon. So the moon is constantly in a cycle, right? And that's what the crescent moon represents. The collective reading was on point as per usual. So much I need to let go in order to probably move forward. Yes, and it is a thing. And sometimes it can be hard to let go, right? Because we have this fear of the unknown or of what's possible. And it's just, even if the thing that we need to let go, even if we know it does not serve us anymore, it's just comfortable. It's just easier. We don't have to apply any new level of effort, even if we're struggling. I know, and it seems counterintuitive, but unconsciously we do that because any sort of change that requires a new level of effort, and effort doesn't have to be this physical thing, right? Effort can be like emotional effort, mental effort, right? The energy shift. It can just feel like so much more work. And the ego don't be wanting to do that all the time. The ego just wants to stay right where you're at and stay in the loop. But in order to change, in order for something different, like you have to do something different. And yeah, that can be like the hardest point of transition. But one of the ways you can break out of that is, well, what's on the other side, right? What gets to happen if you stay where you're at? And is that what you want? Or like, what's on the other side of change, right? There's possibility and hope. And yeah, things could go wrong, but things could also go great. And anything that you might consider wrong, it's like, well, why do you think that is wrong? Right? So it's just interesting. That's a whole conversation I can have. Let's see. Greetings, everyone. Happy to see y'all too. Letting go has been the theme in my world since the last full moon. Yeah, I feel attacked. Yes. It resonates. Definitely speaking to me. Good. Maybe a little off topic, but I watched a great video from you, Taryn, and a guy named Buddha. Does Buddha still do? Yes. Buddha, he also goes by Jason. He is actually, he's mostly active on Instagram. So you can connect with him there. He has 2 Instagrams. And if you leave a comment, ooh, can y'all still see me? Okay. But yeah, you can find him on Instagram primarily. But he also has a YouTube channel. And he is still there. If you send me a DM on Instagram, I can send you his direct link. But oh yeah, you can definitely find him. I can't think of his actual name. If somebody can tag him, and then I can send you the exact name. But yeah, he is still very active, but he's primarily on Instagram. Thanks for your question, and thanks for watching that video. All right, so let's go into some readings. Let's see. Okay. All right, Cosmic Ray, you are up first. General for career. Okay. Now, mind you, for the individual readings, I might be switching decks. I have a few different decks here. So I'll go between whatever feels right, Tarot, Oracle. And I'm feeling Oracle for you right now. Okay, yeah. Creole King, his Instagram is, yeah, Buddha.aq, at Buddha.aq. Okay. So let's see, Cosmic Ray General Career. Let's see. I'm probably going to toggle back and forth between Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Now, Instagram, I'm gonna let y'all know. Sometimes Instagram will cut off the live stream. I don't know if it still does that, and if that happens, I'll let you know. If the countdown happens, and y'all have to trickle on over to YouTube or Facebook. And I do have the link to this video pinned in my bio on Instagram. So just in case, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. All right. General career. It's interesting for you, Cosmic Ray. I'm hearing, what I'm hearing right now is it's time to get to it. There's this kind of energy, and I'm feeling it like in the solar plexus of let's go. Like it's almost like intuitively in your gut instinct is like to let's go. Like, what is that about? Right? It's like it's time to move. Ooh, we have Hot Spring, return to sacred for you. Return to the sacred. So it's interesting that this card is coming up for you when it comes to general career, because it's like, especially with me feeling this kind of get to it in the gut, in the solar plexus, it's like there's a part of you that already knows what it is, like what that thing is. And it's just about returning to that aspect of yourself, right? Like where you need to go is about returning back to what you already know is true. And you decided that a long time ago. I don't know if you forgot. Sometimes we forget now. Or sometimes it's like, are you being too logical about the thing? No, it's time to return back to what is true. And you already know that intuitively, and it's in your, it's in that solar plexus. Well, gut instinct is what is coming up, right? So, and that's what you really need to return back to. And it's almost like what's in the way of that? What is in the way? Are you doubting yourself for what, Are you doubting what it is that you're wanting to do? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like you already know that, but you keep allowing other things to influence and get in the way of like what you already know is true. And so that's that energy of like, it's time to get to it. Get to it. Return back to what's true. Return back to the sacred. This is about you going within and remembering. You already have it. It's already there. Does that make sense? Like, let me just pin your thing here. Let me find your comments. Hold on. Okay. I know what you're saying. Very true. I literally wrote in my journal about working with my solar plexus again. And because that's where it is, like the truth is already there, right? And the solar plexus, for those of you that might not be familiar or might need a reminder, or here's my perspective with the solar plexus, right? The solar plexus is an energy center, okay? Also considered a chakra, okay? And it governs your personal identity, right? The ego, the personal identity, like who you are. And this came up in the collective reading, that when you want to connect with like who you are and like that truth of self, it starts in your solar plexus. So that we have our primal instinct, our gut instinct it resides in our solar plexus. Okay. Our third energy center, depending on what school of thought you kind of resonate with. All right. So that's just something to be mindful of. We are born with that primal instinct, that gut instinct. Okay. Solar plexus and throat are the big two. And let me tell you about the throat chakra. Okay. So you have the solar plexus and you have the throat chakra. When it comes to you even saying the things, when I do energy work for clients, what I find, and I've mentioned this before in previous videos, like you start to become like, those two are connected. They're often connected because you can't even like in order for you to speak the truth of who you are, in order to speak the truth and create from a place of truth and authenticity, you have to be rooted and have clarity within who you are. And that stems in your solar plexus. So some of you, when it comes to even articulating that, when it comes to being able to be honest with yourself or other people, enforce boundaries, right? Create, those two are connected. So if you are off in one area or aren't fully grounded in one area, like those two things tend to be connected. So there's that. Hopefully that resonates, because it's a thing. Okay. The way I be having to unblock, and a lot of times it's when I do energy work, so it's like distangled. Like a lot of times there's just things in the way energetically with those two energy centers. But that's a whole nother thing. All right. So I hope that resonated for you, Cosmic Ray. All right. Let's see. Instagram. Let's see. Let me scroll and see. Okay. Piece of Shevonn. If you are still here. Okay. You want a general, Piece of Shevonn. All right. So let's see. Let's see. We're going to do tarot for you. Nope. What do you need? Let's see. Yeah, we're going to do tarot for you. Oh, use this deck. Okay, we're using this deck. All right, let me reshuffle here. All right, Piece of Shevonn, General. And now keep in mind, right, even if you do not get selected for a reading, this is one thing I always like to remind y'all of. Even if you don't get selected, sometimes the message that you need is within a message for somebody else. Sometimes what you need to hear, what you need like for something to click, like you hear it through a message for someone else. So you can get just as much value from hearing other people's readings. All right. General. It's interesting. Piece of Shevonn, I'm seeing you like there's a lot of darkness. This darkness isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's like there's this like I'm seeing like this forest jungle situation, and you're kind of you're kind of walking through this dark jungle forest type of thing, but there's like sand and water. It feels like this kind of this jungle island. So it's interesting. I feel like, I don't know if you're currently navigating this aspect of yourself. It's almost like you are seeking something or returning back to something is what this feels like as I see this. And this place, it's like what I'm hearing is clearing and healing, and creating all at the same time. And so it's like you can't have one without the other, right? You can't, like, healing requires the clearing, the creating requires that healing. So these things all kind of go hand in hand. And this feels like an aspect of yourself that is, yeah, like and even like with the water and the sand, it's like it's a lot all at once. Feels a bit tumultuous actually, but this is a place of deep transformation for you. And it's going to feel like shit sometimes, for the record. Like you're going to get dragged. And part of it's really going to suck quite a bit. But it's through that a lot of lessons and you actually recognizing things about yourself is going to come in. So even going back to the overall reading, if you were here for that part, the overall theme for summer is the Eight of Wands, which is about a lot of things like fast pace. And I talked about opportunities or overwhelm. And I feel like the overwhelm for you is definitely going to be a thing, but also it's through that overwhelm where you get to recognize what you want, what you don't want, like that, and you might need some support around that. So this is going to be a time for you, because right now you're in this space alone, because now it's like, okay, it's almost like you're addressing things that maybe you haven't or didn't recognize you needed to. And this is where, like, what does your support system look like? What is that? Have you even navigated, this aspect of yourself? So I'm not sure of your age, but this could be like a Saturn return situation. But yeah, deep transformation for you in this area. A lot of deep shadow work. I don't know how familiar you are with that, but it's really on the other end of it. It's going to be a huge awakening for you. Like this is a huge opportunity for like your own personal growth, your personal spiritual growth and development. And that's where your creativity is really going to stem from that, and your power, like this aspect of like you finding yourself. This is this journey is going to lead you to your own personal empowerment and finding this level of confidence in yourself that you have not yet experienced. Or maybe that's the thing. I feel like that's what part of you has been seeking, not even just in this lifetime, but for previous lifetimes. This has been a thing for you. So this actually runs pretty deep, and it kind of makes sense why this is showing up for you so heavily. Well, let me, okay, this is what's coming up. I haven't even pulled a card. Let me see if this is resonating, because I'm kind of like, I'm just dumping all this stuff on you. Let me see. Okay, it's been a struggle out here, but I'm handling it. Yes, some kind of chaos over here. Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunity in chaos. I love a good chaotic moment. I really do. I love it. I love that for you in the best way. Um, you know, I'm a shadow worker, y'all. I love that deep, dark work. That's like where I love it because that's where the deep transformation really happens. Um, but yeah, but this is about you. This is about you against you. You against you, you with you, right? And you like it's not about blaming anybody or anything. It's about recognizing like this is what's in front of you, this is what it is. And now what are you going to do about it? What does this represent in your life? This is not about like whose fault is it or what's this or whatever. It's like, no, this is just what it is, and this is how it's showing up for me, and this is why this is happening. And now what am I learning from this? What am I going to do with this now that I have this awareness? Oh, come on. King of Cups. King of Cups. It's interesting that this card comes up because Cups governs water and emotions. And I mentioned I was seeing you on this like jungle island thing with sand and water. And then we have, you know, a seashell back there, right? So this is about you owning, honoring, and diving into those emotions and that water, right? So a lot of deep diving for you. Oh, and you're a Cancer. Even better, even better. So yeah, a lot of deep work is going to happen for you, and it will be transformative. Yeah. And I see this journey, this feels like because of the past life connections, and I don't know like how you feel about past life stuff or where you're at with that. You don't really necessarily need to dive that deep in it right now, but there are a lot of past life ties, and that's why it's so deeply triggering now, because you are going to be healing things that you did not get to complete or finish in previous lifetimes. Previous lifetimes and previous timelines. So that's why it's like so deeply triggering. It's almost like a really deep like wound in a lot of ways. But this can really propel you forward as long as you're looking at it from just how it's showing up versus like, you know, this is happening to me versus like, okay, to me or for me? Is it happening to me or for me? It's happening for you to recognize, to understand, to get clarity of like what to do next and what this means now and what you're going to let go of it. Because what are you going to do with it? Who do you get to become because of it? Don't be the victim. Okay. What did I say in that middle? The middle of summer was the what was it? The Eight of Cups, walking away from things. Don't be the victim. Don't be the victim. And it's going to be easy to go into that state. When we're in deep shadow work stuff, it could really be easy to do that. But I'm telling you, this is about you finding the courage and the empowerment within yourself. And that's where I was mentioning like the support, needing some support could really be beneficial for you. So if you feel like you need that, then you can start to seek that, or allow those opportunities to start to show up for you. And they might show up for you in unexpected ways, like maybe today, right? Maybe you happen to come across me today. It's like, oh, right. So this could be that first kind of opportunity for support or kind of igniting that for you. So that was a lot. I hope that resonated. So, all right. So let's go for another one. Let me see. Okay. All right. Let's go. Zen balance. Definitely. You said you're a lot. I love it. All right. Okay. Zen balance. So I'm toggling back and forth here. If you're just tuning in. Oh, we got some jumpers here. You got some jumpers, Zen balance, if you're still here. Ciao. You're looking for a general. All right, but yeah, I'm streaming, multi-streaming here. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and I am doing live tarot readings in honor of the upcoming summer solstice and summer, just summer season in general. If you missed the beginning of this live stream, I spent the first about 20 minutes or so going over a general collective message, sharing the overall theme for summer, and also a message around the early, middle, and end of summer. So be sure to catch the replay on that. And now we're going into individual readings, and I'm picking at random, and I'm picking off of all the different platforms. So from YouTube, from Facebook, and Instagram. And if for whatever, and I'm just picking at random. And even if you don't get selected for a reading, you can still get a lot of benefit just from some of the messages that I am sharing for other people. So just something to be mindful of. And don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share this video if it resonates. All right. Okay. Zen balance. You just got 3 cards here, 3 jumpers that literally just flew out of my hands here. Okay. And it's interesting because here's the 8. Now y'all saw me shuffle, right? This is what I be saying. Y'all saw me shuffle. Here, the 8 of the 8 of cups. Listen, the 8 of cups has summer in a chokehold right now. That's all I'm saying. This full moon, I don't know what this full moon is going to be in. I know it's sometime in July. What is the full moon going to be? Like, something's about to happen. I'm about to do some deeper dives because this eight of cups. All right, so Zen, you have the 8 of cups, you have the High Priestess, and you have the Emperor. So what's interesting, Zen balance, is this moon energy is showing up for you twice, okay, in the cards, and then we have the Emperor. So you have 2, if you're familiar with tarot, 2 major arcana, right? So kind of like really, let me tip that down a little bit. And this High Priestess, represents like intuition, like esoteric aspects of yourself. So depending on where you're at within, like this journey that you're on and kind of where you're at in your life, it's almost like, especially with the Emperor, it's like, are you owning kind of your abilities? Like, where are you at with that? Because it feels like it's like there's either something in the way of that, or you've kind of been like taking a step back from that, or you're afraid to kind of own that in a way that is kind of going to be like more integrated into your life in general. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, like, it feels like you are an empath. If you're familiar with that, it feels like you're an empath, and I don't know if you've owned that yet, if you're aware of that, or and how that shows up for you. But if it hasn't been showing up for you, then it feels like this is going to. If you are aware of that, then it's about like, what does this actually mean for you with now that you have that level of awareness, right? And how is that going to influence your like your life and how you want to show up within your life? But it's more so, this is about how you want to govern it more so than how, like, what you're going to do for other people, if that makes sense. Like, you can't just like, because you have to know what it means for you and allow that to be revealed to you without having, there doesn't need to be any pressure. There's no rush. But this is about finding that stability within your intuitive abilities, and how those experiences that you have as an empath, how that's showing up for you. So this is about like finding that foundation or settling into that foundation. Because the empath thing, yeah, that's a whole thing. Let me see. Okay, okay, yes, okay, you're familiar. taking a step back and waiting. Yeah. And this is about, and when it comes to waiting, right? It's more so about stillness than waiting. Because, okay, so one of my abilities is being able to pick up on the energy of words. Okay. And by that, like, so you're saying, well, you're typing, taking a step back and waiting, but waiting feels like a barrier energetically for you, because waiting feels very inactive, very passive. And with this emperor, with these two cards, the emperor and the high priestess, this isn't about just waiting for something to happen, like, because that's passive. And you might not recognize this. This might be an unconscious thing, but this is about stillness for you. This isn't about waiting, right? It's about receiving, and you receive through stillness. You receive. You see how they're both just sitting here owning their shit right here. You see that? And you see how they're facing each other. So these two are working together. I'm looking at, like, so the high priestess is looking towards the emperor. And so this is about receiving the intuitive, the intuitive guidance, or that confirmation. It's about receiving it. And it's about being, like, open to receiving it. Because if you're waiting, it's almost like that feels very external. And this is about this is about the internal work. So waiting does not feel, energetically, that does not feel in alignment. It's about stillness, pacing yourself, right? Not feeling like you have to take a lot of external action. The action that you need to take is internal, and receiving the messages, receiving the guidance, receiving more so the confirmation, especially with the emperors. It's about, like, you need that confirmation for what you need to do with your abilities externally. Okay, you see it. Good, 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 good. So I hope that resonates. And, and it's through that, sometimes when we are, what's coming up is cultivating our craft. It doesn't necessarily have to be for other people yet. It's about for you to understand it, for you to work with it. And that's where it feels like you're at this point, Zen Balance. And that's such a cool place to be, because you get to learn more about yourself. And if you're not already journaling or kind of like jotting down notes and the things that come up, then this would be a great time to do that, to start to write things down, because you're going to start to receive things, right? When you start to honor stillness versus just waiting. My dreams have been off the chain lately. Yeah. So it's a great opportunity to start to write things down, and because you'll start to see those connections. And so even going back and reflecting on those things, if you've already been writing stuff down, then reflecting on those things, and you'll start to connect the dots, and your dreams will start to answer things. So what I kind of see for you right now is, when you start writing things down, you're going to reflect back to that, and it's going to answer, your dreams are going to answer your future questions. So it's going to be something that you write down tomorrow, and then, like, literally 3 months from now, you're going to find that book, or you're going to find that page for whatever it's going to bring you back, and you're like, oh shit, like, yep, that makes sense now. Because that's what happens when you are in that stage of like refining and, like, discovering, nurturing your intuitive abilities. And as an empath, right, as you start to process that, that's going to be really important for you to be able to navigate that. I do need to journal more, for sure. Yeah. And really, it's about just taking notes. For some reason, even the energy of the word journal feels like work that you don't want to do. The energy of words, for some reason, when you say or type whatever journal, it's like, ooh, it feels like work. Like you know, versus like you're just jotting down, you're just taking notes of, and you're just jotting down things that come in mind, right? It doesn't have to be on like a full on Dear Diary situation. For some reason, there's a part of you that's just like, oh, oh, I have to, you know, light the candle and like get the special book with the special pen. No, child, just get a post-it note. Get you a post-it, put that shit on a post-it. Because it ain't that serious. Does that make sense? On point. Okay. It does feel like work. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why, yeah. That's why you see, and sometimes I like to explain, right? So one of my abilities is being able to pick up on the energy of words and how that resonates with you. It's like, no, that's not an alignment for you. Don't say that word. So you just writing stuff down. Journaling ain't for you. That ain't the word for you. You writing stuff down, you put stuff on post-it notes. You just, you know, you're documenting certain things that you want to recall later. All right. All right. I hope that resonated for you, Zen Balance. All right. Let me see how we're looking at time. We're looking good at time. I'm going to do a couple more. Let me know how y'all are feeling about these readings so far. And has anything resonated? If you have not been picked for a reading yet, and you've been tuning in, has anything that you've heard resonated with you so far? Let me know. Let me know. All right, so we're heading back over to Instagram. Let's see. Let me scroll back here and see. Let's see. All right, Jazzy, are you still here? You haven't heard anything that hasn't resonated. Oh, I appreciate that. I love that. That's good. Jazzy wants a general for a spiritual journey. Okay, Jazzy is here, so let's pull for Jazzy. I'll probably do one more for each thing. For one for Instagram, well, we'll see. I don't know how many people are where. All right, Jazzy. All right, Jazzy. Oh, we got a jumper. Page of Wands. This is a great card. One of the things that I'm hearing for you, Jazzy, is hope. Hope. And it's coming from such a pure place. And part of it is this aspect of hope. Where does that stem from? And what are you hoping for? Is this hope coming from a place of what you're hoping will happen from a place? Because it's almost like it's coming twofold a little bit. What you hope to gain, right? What you hope you get to do, because it's a combination of both. So being optimistic about like where your journey can take you. But you need to trust yourself more is kind of what's coming up. Trusting where you're being guided, right? Because in this, you know, this is why I teach a lot around like really being able to connect with your inner self, because that's your powerhouse. And so whatever you're being guided to, I don't know what you're kind of into right now, but it's like it's time to stop being on the surface. It's time to start going a little bit deeper. But it's almost like oh, okay, let me just kind of see what happens. It's like, no, like, what are you being guided to? It's time to go in a little bit more, right? It's time to like move beyond just the surface, and explore a little bit deeper. But this requires you to go deeper within yourself. And that means there's going to be a lot of things that maybe you've avoided, or things that you might have to return back to, But that's not a bad thing, because things that you've avoided, like the more that you go within yourself, the more that you continue to unfold and go deeper into your spiritual journey. Does that make sense? Like there's a, so this aspect of this wands, it's like, okay, like this is a next level for you. Like this feels like you want to start to receive more, right? Like if, I don't know if you're reading stuff, like what you're kind of being led to do when it comes to learning more about certain things, let those things come to you, absorb the information, but then it's like do something with it a little bit. Don't just hoard knowledge. Don't just consume knowledge. And there is a stage for that, right? But you don't want to like let this come in cycles. You consume a bit and then you do something with it. You consume a bit and then you do something with it. You know what I mean? And now, if I don't know if y'all can see, you can see it more on YouTube because the camera's bigger. You know, we all go through that stage of just when we're in this page of wands stage. It's about, oh, like all the books and researching and, you know, watching the videos and doing all this stuff. But if I could go back, right, it's about like, because that's where the overwhelm comes in. And I talked about that at the beginning of this this live stream for overall readings, for, I mean, overall message, right? You don't want to stay in just overall consumption. It's like, no, take that and then sit with it. If there's something that, whatever you're into right now, I was talking about chakras earlier, let's just say chakras, energy centers, maybe you're into that. For some reason, yoga's coming up. I don't know if you're into yoga, but yoga's coming up right now. Maybe you're into yoga and moving your body a bit more, or doing something with that. Like, don't just read all the stuff about it, read some stuff and then do some stuff. See how it feels for you. Take the action. And that's where the wands is about fire and taking that action. So do something with it. And that's kind of the stage that either you've been kind of holding back on, or what you're hoping it could come up in a different way, but really it's about you just taking the initiative and taking a little bit less of a passive approach. And it's time to just like do things in smaller bits, right? So there's always going to be room to learn and to grow, but don't get to the point where you're only consuming information, consuming knowledge, and then just getting lost in that versus applying it, because that's where that growth happens, right? Because then you're going to know, like, well, does this resonate, right? So you can learn from people and be guided by people, right? But then do something with it, see how it feels, try it on, right? Sit with it, do something with it, and then return back to it. So you see how it's a cycle. And then through that's where that growth starts to happen. And that's where that hope that's been coming up, then you get to see more. If you see here how the person in the card is kind of looking up at you see this, like these sprouts of growth that's happening, right? That is the hope. That is the activation of these things kind of showing up. And that makes sense. Good. All right. So I hope that resonated for you. And let me know, like, is there something right now, like this, for some reason the yoga thing was coming up. Does that resonate for you? Or are you into yoga? Or is that something you've been wanting to do? Or something with movement and like some sort of like body connection? There's something with that's like coming up for you with the body. I don't know. I'm doing this because that's kind of like, I just see like this fluid, something about fluidity in the body, and like, you know, whether it's yoga, dance, or something like that, where there's something with that can be a really good thing for you if you haven't been doing that. Maybe that might be the next phase for you, or something to consider. But yeah, something that involves fluidity of the body, movement of the body, connecting with the body, will be very supportive in your spiritual journey. Or was that the thing that you need to return back to? Maybe you did it before. Let me know, because that keeps coming up. All right, let me take a sip of water break, and then let's see. For those of you just tuning in, we're doing some individual readings. I'm going to do a couple more. Let's see. And I've been bouncing between Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay, MC, love reading. All right. All righty. Oh, we're switching decks. Okay. Nature speak, nature speak. All right, let's see. Hey, Emily. All right, love reading. Let's go. For some, I'm seeing, it's interesting, MC, I am seeing I'm seeing like snow, ice, mountains, like I'm seeing like winter season for you. So I'm not sure if what I'm seeing represents a season and where love, or like where something around it will, love will be a thing, where it's going to be influenced in the winter season. But it's almost like the energy of like cold. It feels like a damn like a I don't, it's like an ice storm. What is that the name for like a winter storm, an ice storm? Interesting. But I'm also, okay. There's a whole thing coming up here. I'm seeing like ice, snow, mountains, right? I'm seeing those like those what are those mountain dogs that do stuff? Blizzard. There we go. Thank you, Blizzard. And those dogs that pull sleds, and the those wolf looking dogs, the huskies that pull the sled. Like I'm seeing them there, and I'm seeing someone that is in red. This red, yeah, in red. So it's interesting. This almost feels like, I don't know if this is going to be a physical place for you, that you're going to, or if this is representing something that is just this journey, kind of what this represents. But it's almost like there's this aspect of the element of like the cold, but not necessarily from a place of like restraint or restriction, but almost to create, it's almost like everything needs to come to a pause, but in this very massive way. The question is why? And this red is coming up. It's for some reason, I'm picking up on Eshu, Ilegua, if you're into the Orishas. So this aspect of like a transition or a crossroad is coming up, with this aspect of love. So let me pull a card here and see. This feels like a huge shift, really, in one aspect, but also very much in alignment in another way. It's almost like two completely different worlds. Like you're in one world in one thing, but then this aspect of love is in another. Let me know if that makes sense. It's almost like having to, like a complete flip from like where you're at now. But this feels like a lot of it feels internal. Ooh. Ooh. Daffodil, trust your power. So I'm wondering, this aspect of red that's coming up, when you think of, so you have this person in red, and this bright red in this ice, winter, blizzard aspect, right? And this red is sticking out so strong. So are you holding back on your, like holding back on your own, on what you already know is true, and what you already harness, right? Are you stifling that? And is is that being stifled in a way? It's very interesting. It feels like that. It might not seem like I'm talking about love, but there's something with you internally where this aspect of love is like, where is it coming up? Does it feel restrictive in one way, or like, are you ignoring a certain part of yourself in order to govern another? And you can't have one or the other. Both, and I don't know if you were on this call earlier, but I talked about congruence. I talked about like there's going to be overwhelming opportunities and things that if it's not in alignment, like there's going to be things to kind of start to realign this aspect. And so it's like, also when it comes to authenticity, and I'm doing this kind of back and forth thing because it feels like, it literally feels like that. Do you feel in alignment when it comes to like love for yourself, love for who you're with and how that shows up within relationships? And then like, are you able to be more of your authentic self through love, through this love with another person? And I feel like that's where this winter thing is coming in, because it's either something you've kind of forgotten or something that you're holding back. And this red is sticking out so clear because like, you are so powerful, you are so strong. And so this Eshu Legua aspect is coming up. It's like, don't forget this part, because because you're supposed to be doing something with that. And let me know if this resonates. It's like, love should empower you to be more of who you truly are. And if you have to hold yourself back and restrain yourself all the time, like, and you have to, like, if you have to do that, or kind of, it's almost like this aspect of seclusion, like seclude this aspect of yourself in order for love to work, then it's not going to work, because you can't fully be who you are. Does that make sense? Like, and so there has to be a balance there. Let me see. So okay, I have one word, menopause. It really changed you. And when you say change, when it changed you, did it change your perspective on something? Is it just change in like how you feel emotionally? Is it your perspective, or has this changed? Like when it comes to love, has it changed? Like what do you feel like it's changed, right? Because it literally feels like a complete, because I was doing like this kind of back and forth, because it's like, you can't like press gas and then press the brakes, and press the gas on the love and then press the brakes on you and your power, and then press the gas. No. You can't do that, because I mean you can do that, and then if you continue to do that, this person in red and what this kind of represents, it feels like this aspect, like a guide to kind of like, and again, I'm picking up the Eshu, Ilegua, Papa Legba, whichever term resonates with you, is like we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for you. Like, we're gonna see how far you're gonna go, and then we're gonna just drag you, right? So you can decide to ease up on that back and forth now, and kind of see like, okay, where are you out of alignment? Where are you not in congruence? Where's the disconnect? And settle that with there. Or you can keep playing this game, and then it's going to come crashing down, and it's going to be a lot harder to pull yourself out of it. So those are the options. But here it says trust in your power. The power's there. So it's like, what is that? What is that telling you? What is that revealing to you? And when it comes to love, are you able to fully be like, to be more of your authentic self? Does the best of you come out to where you feel like you don't have to hide? You shouldn't have to hide who you are. You shouldn't have to hold yourself back, right? And if that's the case, and it's about timing too, right? So depending on where you're at within, when it comes to relationships, dating, or whatever, like there's times for that, but it should be something that is progressive, and it feels like this natural kind of evolution, right? For both or all, people that are involved. So it's not just for you; it's for the other people that you are involved with. I'm not myself. I want to be close, but I'm hot and sweating all the time. Okay. So yeah, so that aspect of the physical aspect, right? And here's an opportunity to tune into what does close look like, right? So sometimes it's about maybe in the way that you want it to be close is not the same way, but there could be other opportunities for that. But this goes back into how can you be more of yourself, right? You don't want to like hold back on who you are just to appease a person, and then vice versa. So now's an opportunity to explore that, right? So that aspect of trusting in your power, what is that? What is that based on this phase of your life right now? And when it comes to love for yourself, it stems there first. So what does that level of closeness look like for you first? You being close with yourself and loving yourself, and then how does that translate to your relationships with your romantic relationships with other people? That is the message, and I hope that resonates, right? Because what you needed at one phase of your life, you are not who you were 1 to 2 years ago or 3 to 5 years ago, right? So that's good. That changes things, right? And the more that you start to reflect on that within yourself, that's going to translate into what you need at this stage in your relationship, because what you need for yourself is different, and so how that shows up in your relationship, it might be different too. So that aspect of kind of like evaluation, but it starts with you trusting within yourself first. It starts from within. Yeah, and yeah, you navigating this blizzard winter mountain situation, because it's like, okay, like, yeah, that has, like, you're gonna have to explore that, because if you don't, like, it's going to drag you for filth. Like Ashley was about to just shout. I'm not in good terms with myself. Yeah. And see, if you're not in good terms with yourself, it's going to show up in your relationship. One thing I always say is I am my greatest love affair, right? You should be the greatest love of your life. And the more that you become in love with yourself, right, then the more that you become incongruous with others, right? So when it comes to your relationships, then you start to attract and align those that you want someone else to be just as in love with themselves, right? Because the more you love yourself, and then you don't have this is what I see with relationships, right? We're trying to, if you are not at capacity for loving yourself, then you're trying to find somebody else to fill that for you. And that's not their responsibility. This is my perspective. All right. This is how I feel about it. Y'all let me know if it don't resonate, that's fine. But it's like, okay, and this happens unconsciously though, you are seeking for someone else to fill what really is yours to fill, right? Everything else should be extra. And that's where we have these unconscious expectations in relationships, and that changes throughout the relationship too, right? So it's not even just at the beginning. Maybe you were at a great point, but then something changes, and then you kind of forget that, and then it's just like, dang, like I am unconsciously expecting this other person to pour into me in a way that's actually not their responsibility. Like, I have to love me first. They can't love me enough to, like, they can love me as much as they can, but that does not change the fact that I have to love myself just as much, or really more so. It's not someone else's responsibility to love me for me, love me with me. Does that make sense? You know, and we have stages where we don't love ourselves as much as we want to or have the capacity for, right? And that's where the healing and the shadow work and all that stuff comes in. But if we go in unconsciously expecting someone to love us more than we love ourselves, right? There could be phases of that, but it can't go on forever now, right? There has to be checks and balances. And that's where I see within relationships an imbalance. Or even when it comes to dating or trying to find that person, it's like you're trying to find somebody to love you, but if you don't love yourself, you're going to keep finding people that are in alignment with you not loving yourself, or with them having the same thing, right? But if you can love someone or multiple people, right, whatever you're into, and just be honest about where you're at, right? So this doesn't mean that you can't be in relationships or in romantic situations with other people, and you have to fully love yourself first. Like, you might not be there, but be honest with where you are so you can know what you need to receive. Because that's the thing too. It's like, look, this is just where I'm at, and I just want to be honest with that, so we can have so we can have a clear expectation of how we're showing up. So when you're conscious about it, then you're showing up. You're still showing up authentically. Does that make sense? That was a little bit of a whole tangent there, a little bit, but I hope that resonated. I feel like maybe somebody needed to hear that. Okay, let's see. Let me see here. Can we book readings on your site? Actually, so I do readings and stuff seasonally, and I'm about to open that back up. So it's not up yet because, so I should probably, I'm horrible at advertising my services. So I will be doing, so private readings will become available. I'm going to be doing a summer special. So, and that's going to be open. I'll post it probably tomorrow or maybe right after this. I'll post it right after this in my link tree, where I'm doing 30-minute readings and 60-minute readings, and those are going to be on sale for a special rate for the summer. 30-minute readings will be on sale for $77, and 60-minute readings will be on sale for $97. All right, and that's going on through summer, because normally my 30-minute readings are $97. And then I typically don't offer 1 hour readings, but regular price is I think $137 for an hour reading, but it's going to be at a special rate for summer. So $97 for 60-minute readings, $97, and then $77 for 30-minute readings. And you'll be able to book. That link will be up. I'll post it after this. I'll be sure to do that. And if you're on my email list, please go on my email list. Link is in wherever you're watching, you can find the link to my link tree, and you will see, or you can go to my website, ujowajett.com, and you can join there, because I'm also going to post that. But since you asked about it, I will post it. Let me see. Can I post that right now? Probably not. I might mess something up. So I'll post it right after that. But yeah, usually I send it to my email list first, but since you mentioned it, because goodness knows I'll be forgetting, I will definitely post that tonight, and I will tag you once it's done. Let me screenshot this right now so I can remember who to tag. All right, let's see. Let's do another one. Y'all, this is one of my favorite things to do. So I do this every season. So I do summer, winter, fall, spring, collective readings. There was a point where I was doing readings regularly, but yeah, I'm doing it. I've been doing it seasonally. So if you want to take advantage of private readings, then you can definitely do that. Be sure to join the email list. Go to my website, ujawajat.com, or just click the link in my bio. Click on like sign up for email list, and you will get those notifications as well. And be mindful that sometimes you might need to check your promotion folder or spam folder, depending on your email. Some people aren't, for whatever reason, getting my emails. So it might not be in your inbox. It might be in your promotion folder or your spam folder. All right. So let me see. Who did I just real quick? Let me get another one. Let me see. All right. Let me scroll and see for another reading. Let me see. And I'm just picking at random here. Oh, Jazzy responded. I've never done yoga, but I have pulled an oracle in the past, and it was speaking of dancing or moving my body, but I'm not really a dance person, but I loved to dance when I was a kid. Well, I mentioned for you, it feels like there was something you might be returning back to. So this could be an opportunity for you to explore, right? Because what does not being really a dance person mean? You don't have to be a professional dancer to dance, right? If you enjoy it, then you're a dance person. But also, whatever that movement looks like, you could find it. There's different forms of movement, but yeah, something to play around with, something to explore. Try it on, see how it feels, and go from there. So you always on point. I'm scared to ask. Oh, my current boo. Listen, I'm telling you, if you want something sugar coated, if you want a sugar coated reading, I ain't for you. I ain't for you. All right, let's see. We scrolling. Okay. The reading you did for Zen Balance resonated with me. Good stuff. Let me see. I am looking for a reading. Okay, NaturallyNatanya, are you still here? NaturallyNatanya. That's so funny. Listen, it's the truth now. Because listen, I don't got time to be sugarcoating nothing, honey. Not at all. Okay, good. All right, NaturallyNatanya. All right. It just said, did you want just a general reading? Or is there something specific? Let me know. And I'll probably do one or two more, y'all. Hey, Amanda. Okay. Let me know if you want, yeah, okay, general. All right. So let's see. Let me take a sip of water real quick. All right. Let's see here. General. Oh, switching decks. Okay. Switching decks. All right. General reading for naturally. I'm seeing, I don't know if you have a porch or I'm seeing plants and a porch or something, or a garden situation, I don't know, a patio deck porch situation. Maybe that's something you already have, or maybe something that you're wanting, or if this is a physical place. That part I'm not sure about. But what it feels like is This space for you, it feels like what it represents. This may already be a physical place for you, but what I'm picking up energetically is that this is a place for you to nurture and grow, but to do that with more intention and a bit more specificity. And like I'm seeing these plants, and I'm seeing it's like it feels like you're at a point where it's time to refine some things a bit more. That's what it feels like. Like it's time for you to focus on maybe 2 or 3 things. What does that look like for you? And if you're already focused on a few things, then like, are you focusing on the right aspect of the thing? Does that make sense? Like it's like it's time to narrow down and go a little bit, like go narrow and deep is kind of what's happening, but to do this in a space with a bit more intention. And it feels like it's like, what I'm hearing is clarity on what you really want. What is it that you want? Do you know? Or are you at a phase of your life where it's time to reevaluate that? Because sometimes you get to a point and then you're like, man, well, okay, I'm here now. So now what? All the things I've been complaining about, or all the things I've wanted, or I've gotten to this point. So now what is it that I want? Or now I don't know where to go from here. Like, what does this mean for me now? It's almost like it's time to like figure that part out, right? And so this is what this aspect of like where I'm seeing kind of this porch and the plants is like having an intentional space to do that. Whether this is in your physical space or represent what this kind of represents in when it comes to capacity, like having that intentional time in your day, having that intentional time in your week or in your month, like to really sit with yourself and nurture nurture your thoughts and your interests, so you can see what grows from that. Like I feel like the plants kind of represent this aspect of nurturing what's already there, because it like the plants kind of represent like you're kind of walking into like you've already started doing the work, but now it's about nurturing it and growing it, but really a few specific things. Let me actually pull a card here because I'm just in here shuffling and talking. Oh, did we get a jumper? No. Let's see. I can't make this up. I can't make this up, y'all. Can y'all see that? Ivy, stretch and explore. Stretch and explore. And look at it. What was I talking about? Plants. Right? You already have it, right? It's not about the growth. It's about nurturing what's already there. So that stretching and exploring, that's where the capacity to actually do these things starts to come in. Let me see what you're saying here. Let me see. I don't have a space like that. I'm trying to figure out what I want career-wise. Okay, then that makes sense then, right? That makes sense because you already have this, like this is about, and I mentioned this in the collective reading, you already have the skill set. This came up in the 9 of Pentacles. If you weren't here during that time, then watch the beginning part of this video. It'll be easier to catch the replay on my YouTube channel because I'm going to put the timestamps on there for the collective reading and then where the individual readings are at. But I talked about this, right? The skills that you already have, right? Where is the alignment for what what you already have natural talent in, and what skills and certifications, whatever the things are, what skills that you already have, and where that's in alignment with you in the direction that you want to go. This is where that's going to start coming in for you. Also reconsider if I want more kids. I feel like work pulls me away from how I want to actually live my life. But do you see why these things need to be, why this is about taking the time to nurture what's already there? Because if you're only going work, you're like, yes, working from a place that's logical versus like what's in alignment with where you're at in your life now. That's where this kind of porch garden thing is coming in. So even if it's not a physical place for you, like right now, this is what that represents. The plants and the things, you've already done the work. Like the stuff is already there, but now it's about refining. It's like, okay, well, what plants represent what you need now and what you want to focus on now? There might be some plants where it's like, okay, these are overgrown. I don't need this anymore. That's kind of what this is representing. And so this is just something to consider. And if you don't, do you have plants? If you don't, this might also be an opportunity, might be a time to get some plants so you can, as something tangible, as a tangible reminder of you nurturing the things that you want for yourself. And how can you take the skills and the abilities that you already have? How can you take that and turn that into something more? So it's about nurturing what's already there. But how can you do that in a way that is authentic with you and the life that you want to live? You can imagine that. The more you imagine that and explore that, and it literally says stretch and explore, the more you start to do that, the more it becomes possible. And the overall theme for summer is the 8 of Wands. And what did I mention? If you weren't already here during it, I mentioned it's overwhelming opportunities. Which one is it going to be? I'm going to Costa Rica on Monday. Maybe that's the nature part. Oh, yes, I have plans. Okay, that could be. So maybe when you go to Costa Rica, that might show up. Let me know. Please let me know. Tag me, girl. Yeah, tag me, send me a DM or email if that comes up. Because I mentioned earlier, somebody sent me a message, a reading I did for someone literally years ago. And he was like, I came across the reading that you did, and I mentioned in his reading that he was going to be someplace tropical, and now that stuff is coming up literally like 2 years later. It's wild, right? So definitely let me know. But either way, this aspect of nurturing what you already have, right? And the alignment of what is it that you want for you? Like what do you want your life to be like? You can choose. The more you just start to think about it and create the space to nurture those thoughts and ideas and beliefs, right? And those things that you really want, the more it becomes possible. So I hope that resonated. Okay, good. You'll let me know. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna do one more because we are nearing the 2-hour mark. Let's see. Zen Balance resonated with, I'm glad that resonated with you. Hey, Lo, how are you doing? Man, it's been a while. I'm happy to see you and my doing collab together. Yes. So for those of you that don't know, I actually have 2 podcasts, but one that my newer podcast, I'm a co-host with me and Mayette Ajay-Ib. And the podcast is called Spirit Wisdom Reset. And you can find that podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms. And we also have a YouTube channel. So if you prefer the video version, you can watch that as well. And a new episode drops every Wednesday. And one just dropped yesterday titled Initiating Manifestations. So be sure to check that out, Spirit Wisdom Reset. And you can also find a link to that in my link tree, or you can head over to Spirit Wisdom Reset podcast on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, but we're primarily on Facebook and YouTube. Someone said that's interesting because I recently started a garden on my patio a month ago, and it is a place of peace. Definitely resonates with me. Beautiful. So I love that, and I love that. So I mentioned, sometimes you might not get people for a reading, but the message that you need is actually, you know, within a reading that's for somebody else. So that is something. All right. Let's see. Emily, are you still here? Let me know if Emily, if you are still here. I really want to move out of town. I need more nature in my life. I feel you on that. All right, Emily is still here. Okay, let me see. A business reading. All right. All right, business. So, okay, two things before I don't even barely have a deck in my hand. I'm hearing two things. The question is right now, I don't know if this is conflicting for you but I'm hearing forge ahead, redirect. Forge ahead, redirect. Forge ahead, redirect. That's what I'm hearing. So the first thing that's coming up as I'm picking up on this is this a point in your business where you feel like, do you feel like you want to redirect? And is that what you're feeling led to? And that could be the thing that you are wanting to forge ahead, but maybe you don't feel sure about it, or are you torn between the two? So sometimes, because like when these things come up, I call it like spiritual charades. So how it shows up sometimes is like, I'm like, okay, it could go one way or another. Either you've been feeling led to redirect, and it's like, okay, you want to go this path, but maybe you don't have as much confidence in it, and kind of you've been getting this hit to kind of like forge ahead, or it's like, okay, should I move forward with what I'm already doing, or should I take a redirect? I feel like it can go either way, but I feel like what's needed most is it goes back to which option, if you're torn between the two, which option is going to align most with the life that you want to create for yourself, and more importantly, or well, not more importantly, but just as important, the impact that you want to create with your business. And don't feel like you have to choose one or the other. You don't have to choose having massive impact in your business and then having the life that you want. And we really need to stop, just in general, we need to stop believing that we can't have one or the other. Like, we can create the life that we want and have the impact that we want in our lives, like in our businesses, or in our careers, or whatever, right? The question is, what will it take? What is required for that to happen? And this doesn't mean that there won't be sacrifices along the way, right? Or things that need to change around a little bit, right? This doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but really it's about what's possible. It's about the possibility. So what was that going to look like? So where is the misalignment, right? If where your business is at right now, if it feels like it's going against, or it's veering off from where you want it to be, or it's no longer in alignment with the life that you want, then it might be time for the redirect, right? Is it with the type of business that you're bringing in? Is it with the clients, right? So there's a few different, I'm just sharing a few different ways that this could, like things that you can start to analyze to see, like, where, when it comes to making this decision of redirecting or forging ahead, like, which one feels most in alignment. So that's something to consider. And then when it comes to support, what does that support look like? Because you cannot do this alone. You can't do this alone. Ooh, we got a jumper. 10 of Cups. And I just, as soon as I was saying you cannot do this alone, we get the 10 of Cups, right? This is about, so bringing all these different things together, right? Bringing these things together. What does that look like? So now this is about the big, think about, now it's time to create a bigger vision for yourself too. The theme of summer, eight of wands, opportunities and overwhelm. Before you even make that decision, just as this 10 of Cups comes in, create the bigger. It's time for you to create something bigger. You need a bigger vision. You need a bigger vision. And once you expand that vision, then you'll start to see what's more in alignment as well. So this is about, and I've experienced this, okay? You get to a certain point and it's like, man, okay, I've gotten here, and you're at the top of this part of your game, but the universe, God, the ancestor spirit, whatever you believe in, right? Now it's like, okay, you've gotten here, but, and I talked about this earlier in the collective reading, it is actually time for so much more. It is time for so much more. It's time for you to expand in ways that you didn't even think was possible. But now it's time for you to create the bigger vision. Like, what is that vision? And it's not just about what you want. It's about like things are like, don't limit yourself to what you think you want. Right? Don't allow any boundaries on the dream or the vision. Like, it is time to just, like, what do you want what feels like almost unimaginable? So when I'm talking about bigger vision, I'm talking about like what feels almost impossible, but what feels like just, but the feeling connected to it. Is it liberating? Is it inspiring? Does it excite you? Do you feel grounded? And do you feel like at peace? And do you feel like you're being challenged in like really effective ways, right? So yeah, you've actually reached, you're capped out right now, actually, when it comes to what you're currently doing. Yeah, it's time for more. It's time for a bigger vision. You have reached the cap of the vision that you initially created for yourself, however many years ago. And now it's time for more. Yep. So that makes sense why there was kind of the back and forth. Like, is it a redirect? So yeah, you need the bigger vision first. Let me see. Yeah, not sure exactly how to redirect. Things are coming together to make my business better. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a big question. How to redirect and align. True. Yes, I'm here. Okay, yeah. Because sometimes if you don't, like, you can't redirect if you don't have the bigger vision, right? So as we continue, so that's where it comes back. And this isn't going to necessarily happen overnight. This will take some time as well for you to, like, it's like, man, like, because you've never had to think about it. We get so fixated on one part of getting to a certain thing, and then you're there, and then you stay in it for so long, and then you don't know what else. It's like, well, what else is next for me? I've already done the things. And you thought that this was it. It's like, no, there's more. There's more possibility. And I think that's where where I mentioned you can't do this alone. Like, this is about like attracting the people, the community, the resources that's going to even inspire you to think about things in ways that you've never thought were possible. So that might come up for you as well. So, and I'm excited for you. Yes, there's more. Yeah. And here's the thing, like we get so fixated on like just reaching a certain goal, and then we don't know what to do with ourselves once we get there. Yeah, you're supposed to be there for a season, but your purpose progresses as you do. You see what I'm saying? So there was a point in my life where, yeah, I was my purpose was one thing, right? But your purpose evolves because you do. Your purpose evolves and expands. Your purpose is not just this one stagnant thing. It continues to expand and grow as you do, right? You reach a certain point, you get the skill set, you get the ability, you get all the things, and then you continue to grow. that's where I'm at right now, because it was like, oh, I've capped out. And we don't even think that that's possible. It's like, no, it's time for you to take all that stuff that you've been doing and apply it and expand it in other ways. So that is where you're at. Yes, profound purpose expands it. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a lesson that I had to learn quite a few times. And yeah, and it could be a hard lesson because you're like, wait a minute, I've worked so hard for this one thing. It's like, mm-hmm. And it's not about letting all the things that you have cultivated and learned and developed through that. You're going to take that and you're going to use that. That's going to be the next layer for all the other stuff. So yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole, I really should do like a whole like separate video just about that. Just about what that looks like. And even just share my own personal experience with it. You are welcome. You are welcome. So, okay, we are almost at the 2 minute, goodness gracious, the 2 hour mark. So I am going to get ready to wrap this up. I would love to get your insight and your reflections and let me know, yeah, what was this, what were some of your takeaways? And for those of you that have been here for, are here to the end, man, I appreciate you for hanging out with me, for just tuning in for this amount of time. I don't take that lightly. I always greatly appreciate your time and attention, and you just being in community with me here. Because yeah, I don't do these often, but when I do, I like to go in, I really do. So I really hope you got value from it. It's something I truly love to do. And I really hope that you found the messages, whether it was from through a direct reading that I was able to share, or through the general reading for the collective, or just from you hearing certain messages from other people. I really hope that you got something out of it. And just take the information, take what resonates, and use that to reset yourself for the summer, right? That's what this is all about. Summer reset. We are less than a week away as I'm recording this. It's the 15th of June of 2023. But if you're catching the replay, even if it's somewhere halfway through the summer, you can still get so many benefits from the messages here. And just let me know if you have any questions. And subscribe if you haven't done so already to my YouTube channel. If you want to watch the replay, and this is what I recommend, go back and revisit the video. On my YouTube channel, I'm going to timestamp the video so you can see where the readings are, and I'll timestamp where it has the overall message, the early part of summer, midsummer, and the end of summer. So I will timestamp that. For Instagram, I'm going to save this video, but who's going to watch a 2 hour long video on Instagram? I don't know. We'll see. But it's definitely easier to navigate on YouTube. So just something to keep in mind. So head over to my YouTube channel, Ujo Wajet, and subscribe there and click the notification. And private readings, if you're interested in a private readings, those I will have a summer sale. I do have a summer sale that's about to go live, and that I forgot to talk about, but somebody asked in the comments. So I'm going to make sure I post that after this, where 30-minute readings are going to be $77. And the normal price for that is $97. So it's going to be on sale during the summer for $77. And then my 60-minute readings are going to be $97. And the regular rate for that is $127, $137. But that's going to be the sale all through up until I think August. So if you're interested in a private reading, that will be happening. And so yeah, I do my readings seasonally. So this is the opportunity. If you're wanting some one-on-one time, if you got any value from this and you want to go deeper in something, then this is going to be the time to do that. Be sure to join my email list, because a lot of times the people on my email list get first dibs for everything that I'm doing. So be sure to join that, and you can find the link in my bio on my link tree, or you can go to my website, ujowajet.com. And I am at Ujo Wajet on all platforms, so you can connect with me. And I really appreciate you all. It was great. Thank you. I'll be more intentional about figuring out what I want, out of life. Good. I think that part is so important, right? Because everything else extends from our intentionality. So it has been a pleasure, and enjoy this upcoming new moon that we're going to have. And I will see y'all on the next one. Bye. See y'all later.